The markets are closed, but money never sleeps. So let's have a nice, casual talk. Have a glass of wine, get some food, and let's talk about the markets. Let's talk about gold stocks, mining stocks, uranium stocks, Microsoft, crypto, and trading advice. All right, here we are. Well, I hope you got yourself a drink. I got myself a nice glass of wine, Pinot Grigio from Italy. Very nice. Got some specialty roasted almonds. Love them. You can only get them in one store here in my place. And relax and have a good time and talk about the markets, the things that interest you. Got a lot of questions about individual stocks, about the markets, about life. I love to talk about that, so that's great. Trading advice, that's always good. We'll definitely get into that. So let's get started. We'll jump right into the chart. First question, Blair 1026 asks, charts to look at. Thank you, Arizona State, GDXJ, and Harmony Gold. Well, usually everybody only gets one question because I want as many people as possible to have their question answered. But hey man, if you thank Arizona State, you get two questions in, no doubt about it. So here's the GDXJ. We've talked about it quite a bit. It's the ETF for the junior miners. So this is the long-term chart. I've shown this before. Nothing is really happening before we break this big blue resistance zone. That's the macro. We're in an uptrend overall. That's fine. You can see here, downtrend. It's broken. Excuse me. It's broken. We have a trend reversal. We're in an uptrend. You can see the base. It's formed here since 2020. Very nice. That's all good. But the action really starts once we break this blue resistance zone. Now, if we look a little closer, we can see the last 2 days have really done a lot of damage to the chart. It looked quite good, same as gold, silver miners, and then the last 2 days just really dropped the hammer. If we look at this objectively, we have this big gap open right here. It's likely that we're going to close it, maybe hit this support zone. If we don't go below the support zone, we're fine. Right? We're fine. This gap is not closed, by the way. The blue, you see the blue line? We didn't close it last time. We reversed right before closing it. So it would make sense that we close this one, and then if we build a base here and move up, we got a nice W bottom formation. That is fine. For me right now, I'm waiting. So I've been buying selective gold and silver miners, and got to say this up front. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Read the disclaimer in the end, please. Do your own diligence. I'm just telling you guys what I see in the charts, what I think about the markets, and so on and so on. So I've been buying selective gold and silver miners, junior producers, and advanced developers. I'm not touching the grassroots explorers. I'm not touching the explorers overall. Well, there's one that I'm looking at, but that's it. Reason being, we're not in the market yet for that. We're not even really in the market for the developers. And the juniors, a lot of them are struggling too, but it is just so, they're so cheap and so tempting. So I'm getting in there. So let's talk about Harmony. Now, Harmony has been an incredible stock. If we go back to 2023, look at this. Since October, is that October? Yeah, since October. So in a year, it basically went up from about $4 to $12. 300%. Beautiful. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, Bitcoin was around 27. So Bitcoin was around a 4-bagger. So Harmony, this big mining stock, which has a market cap now of around 6 billies, almost went up as dynamic as a cryptocurrency. Those are the chances that you have when you hit with the mining stocks. And we're not even in a mining stock euphoria. So that's incredible. Now let's look at the chart. Beautiful uptrend channel. I mean, this channel doesn't get more better than this, right? Support here, support here, support here, and now we're fighting it. But then here, look at this. Resistance, 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 resistance. I mean, this is as great a channel as you can have. And the midpoint too, right? Bing, bing, ding, ding, ding. Perfect. So we're seeing weakness now. This correction is fine all the way down to the support zone, especially considering this was the time when the gold price was showing weakness. But now we're kind of rolling over, so we got to be really careful about this. What I do like is this positive divergence in the RSI. See this? We had the bottom here, right? And we're basically at the same price point, but we see in the RSI higher highs and higher lows. I do like this, but everything else I do not like. We clearly have our horizontal support zone here around 850 to 845. If we go below this and confirm, you got to be out. It doesn't matter if it was at 12. I know that hurts if you didn't sell there. But then we're completing a topping formation. And you know what? I should have thrown this out because I bet you this support zone, look at this. We go down here, we have a double support zone, this horizontal blue zone and the long-term uptrend. And the closer you get to these double, triple support zones or resistance zones, this is why I love them so much. It's like a magnet. It draws in the price action. So if we go below 850, there's a chance we're gonna go all the way down here. Now, then things become, there's a gap open here, by the way, too. So we got 3 points to look at. So then things become really interesting in Harmony Gold. So put in a stop. If it reclaims the uptrend, we're all good on this. But if it goes below 850, 845, you got to hit the sell button and get out. All right, Annette, 2216. Any metals we should be keeping an eye on for investing? Thank you, newbie here. Well, thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, a lot of you did that, and I really appreciate that. We have a really good atmosphere, positive atmosphere here on this channel. Okay, so I'm more of a precious metal guy than an industrial metal guy in this market and for 2025. My favorites in the industrial metal or base metal market are rare earth by a wide margin, especially rare earth projects in the US, in Canada. Australia is fine too, but Australia won't be as hot as the US and North America. So this will be one of the things, I'll be talking about this a lot in the coming shows when I talk about the commodities. The commodity super cycle is coming, but it's going to be different than the super cycle that you're used to. And there'll be a clear split between the overall global super cycle in commodities and then what's happening in the US and in North America. And there'll be higher prices paid in the US for projects in the US especially, specifically for base metals, rare earth, and uranium, and in Canada as well as a neighbor, but the US, that's the one. So if you want to get the highest returns, you got to play the US. So rare earth is my favorite. The problem is rare earth, the different rare earth that exist, you can't buy them as a commodity. You have to invest or trade them through companies like MP Metals, which I do like a lot. American rare earth producer. Copper, obviously copper is fine. Everybody likes copper. Chinese just announced big infrastructure project. I think Trump will do the same. I mean, if he's smart, he will do it because, man, you guys in the US definitely need it. If I look at your roads and especially your electricity infrastructure, whew. But the one base metal that I would highly recommend for you to keep an eye on in 2025 is a smaller one that not many people talk about, and that's zinc. So let's look at the chart real quick. Let me grab a drink here. I'm not much of a drinker, so I drink more for taste, and white wine I really enjoy. Okay, so this is copper. I want you to look at the chart of copper, and it's fine, right? We're still in an overall uptrend. Now, we still have this downtrend that's intact, but we're working our way up. Fine. This is copper in 2024. This is what it looks at, right? Yeah, we're higher than what we started the year, but we're clearly lost momentum since the spring, late spring. Not great. Now let's look at zinc at the same time. Now that is a chart that I like and can get behind. Uptrend, and we are right at this all deciding resistance zone. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, and I count this as 1. This is the 4th time we're trying to break through. This is something that's interesting, especially looking back at, look how far back this resistance zone goes. Okay, this goes all the way back to 2017. And as you can see, this is important, right? If we're above it, zinc tends to go up. If we're below it, we'll stay below it. We see weakness. Now we're forming a base here. There's a cup and handle formation too for all you cup and handle fans. And I know there are a lot of them out there that love that in technical analysis. It's pretty good formation, that's true. And you can see we're attacking it this year. Very good base. This is going to be really interesting. Nobody is invested in zinc. And if you look at the fundamentals, and I'll get into that in an upcoming show, if you look in the fundamentals, they really support a massive rally in zinc prices. And that's what will make it interesting. So if it breaks through this resistance zone, the way I would trade it personally, either a pullback to the uptrend, like we did here or here, or the safer option, obviously, you wait for the breakout, confirmed breakout. This is important. I talk about this a lot. And this is a good example. Look at this, how we broke out intraday above it, but never confirmed. Here, we broke above it, we closed above it. Yeah, party time. All the people jumped in here, and look what happened. Reverse candle. We did not confirm above it. You have to wait for the confirmation signal. Yes, you will lose some performance, but you will avoid this here and this here. So you're basically trading some upside potential for lower risk potential, and anybody that is good in the markets will take that any day of the week. Why? Because there'll always be a next trade. The wins and the winning opportunities and the profit opportunities, they'll come, but you have to stay in the game in order to take advantage of them. And you won't be in the game if you keep piling up losses. So if you can reduce risk by giving up a little bit of upside, that's a trade any good trader, any good Wall Street banker, any investment banker will do every day of the week and twice on Sundays. All right, so Steve with 6 E's. That's a lot of E's, Steve. Asks, what's your long-term price target for gold? Thanks. You're welcome, Steve. We'll talk about it. That's pretty easy. So my long-term price target for gold, I think I've said it here before, is $7,000 to $8,000 per ounce. And how do I get there? Let's look at the chart. Okay, so this is gold. Let me get to the monthly and the ultra long-term chart. And here we go. And if we take the low from the prior cycle, the last commodity and gold bull run, and we drag it out and do a measurement to the all-time highs in 2011, we get to around 670, 680%, I think it is exactly. It doesn't matter. You get the idea. You can see it here. It's approximate, right? I know this price well because I was buying gold on 9/11 back then, and it was around 245 back then. Didn't hold it all the way up though. Big mistake. But anyway, so 680, let's say that. And this is the low from this new cycle, and this is around 1050. You multiply that by 6.8x. It brings you to about 7K. And then you add on the hype. Obviously, that will happen. And that's how I get to 8K. Because once we get to 5K, 6K in the gold price, you'll see the articles popping up that say gold's going to go to 10, gold's going to go to 15. And it won't in that cycle, but that's what's going to happen. And on the other hand, the problem with the gold and the silver sector is you have a lot of gloom and doom people in there, and they're all going to come out of the woodworks and tell the people and scare the people and tell them that the world is going to go end, and it won't. I've been through 25 years now in the stock market, and I've seen several bear markets, I've seen several crashes, but we're still here. I've seen wars, way too many. I've seen disasters, Fukushima, Japanese stock market, all-time highs. We're still here. I learned a really valuable quote on Wall Street from a trader. He once taught me, and I kept that in the back of my mind. He said, Daniel, betting on the end of the world is a really bad trade because you're only going to be right one time. Keep that in mind when you hear all the bears. They're going to tell you that the world is going to go end. All right, so, man, we didn't get anything done that I wanted to get done. That's all right. We got next week's show. Remember, next week's show coming up next weekend. We're going to get more into question. Max G asked, you're like you. I forgot a U. Sorry about that. That's Energy Fuels. It's a uranium producer, almost as good as UC. Yes, I really like Energy Fuels. It's one of my 3-4 top favorite uranium stocks overall. Let's jump into the charts, and no doubt about it, the price action has been extremely disappointing. This goes for almost all uranium companies. The crazy thing is, it has been an excellent year for nuclear energy overall. The bull case for nuclear energy and for uranium has improved dramatically in 2024. But the uranium stocks, except for a couple of runs that were great swing trades, like the one that we saw from September out, have not worked yet. There's a reason for it, because they were about to pop this winter, as you can see right here. And then we got the news from Russia about the export ban for enriched uranium. I'll get into that in an upcoming video about uranium in detail. It's very important. I think uranium will rally in 2025. It'll be one of the big surprises. And when uranium goes, you know, it really goes. We'll talk about it in an upcoming video. And shameless plug, I'll do a series, 2025 predictions for several commodities and the stock markets, and we'll do a special one for uranium. But back to energy fuel. So, disappointing price action. We're clearly seeing tax loss selling. There are no bad fundamental news, at least none that I found. The opposite, they got good news from Madagascar, where they have now one of their projects, like rare earth type of projects, that's actually moving forward. That was put on hold before. So that should have pushed up the stock. But again, it's been going down, which clearly means tax loss selling. We see this in a bunch of the uranium stocks. But this one would be and is on the top of my uranium buying list. Personally, no doubt about it. All right, so time is almost up. Lars N. 1973. What do you spend your money on? Life question. Perfect. Travel. That's what I spent most of my money on. There's nothing better than traveling. If you're a travel person, doesn't matter if it is far away, close, your own country. It's to me, it's the most amazing thing in the world. And here's a great question by Pat. The number one trading advice. No thanks. Come on. There's always enough time to type in thanks, but that's all right. Yes, my number one trading advice to you that will literally change your trading success like this is cut your losses early. Nothing cost me more money in trading than that. Really. Cut your losses early. There's a book out by a day trader that I want to read this holiday season. Ooh, I'll throw this in as well. Okay, so I also want to read this book, Jared Dillian. No affiliation. I don't get anything from this. He's a trader, but more of like a long-term swing trader. He's a macro guy, very, very good. Can highly recommend you to check him out, no doubt. Never met him in person, but I've been listening and watching his things quite a bit. It's pretty good. And this book sounds really interesting, so I'm gonna give this a read, but the other one as well. And this day trader, I forgot his name, I'll get it to you next week because he deserves it, wrote a book, and I think the title is First Loser Wins, which is a great title. I wish I would have come up with that. And that's what it's all about. Cut your losses early. And if you're not able to do this emotionally, then put them stops into the system right after you buy it. And you're gonna hate it because you know how life works. The first 5 trades you're gonna do after you start doing this, all gonna be losers. You're gonna get stopped out, and then 4 of the 5 gonna go in the direction that you wanted the trade to go, and you're gonna be upset, and you're gonna be like, Daniel, what the actual F? But if you keep doing it, nothing destroys people in trading more than letting their losers run and leverage. Those are the 2 things. If you can just control these 2 things, I mean, you saw it this week, right? In the crypto market. Biggest leverage takeout all time, I think 2 billies on that one day when crypto and Ethereum like mini crashed. Because people were going on with 10x, 20x leverage on Bitcoin, and they just got creamed. And that's how it always goes. No leverage, cut your losses early. Number one trading advice. We went over a little bit, but not too much. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see us next week. Cheers.